This is a story. This is an epic story. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a murder. There's 29 men dead. There was the greed and the villainy and the bad bastards, but the overriding theme for me of this whole thing was friendship and love and about the strength that comes from that. And it came from funny directions. It came from real hard men. It came from most unexpected places.
Dirty bus is here. Black bus!
Morning, boys.
Hello, Patrol. Yeah, right, it is Captain Dan. Cheers, Craig. You there, Malcolm? Yeah, mate. Danny Herc, are you there, bud? Walk your fat ass up there. You're fucking gotta be dreaming. Nice.
When I started, they used canaries. When the canary fell off the perch, it was time for them to get out because the canary has got 1/10 the breathing rate of a person. So it was an obvious thing when he fell off, it's time you got out of it. Methane's got no colour, taste or smell. So if you're up near the roof and there's a bit of methane there, it would pull off the ladder. Just chop your breath off like that. But you fell back into fresh air, of course, like the canary.
You know where Malcolm is there, mate? He's probably at one of the headings at the moment. I think there was a juggernaut broken down. Tell him there's another one broken down at Turf Club. We've got a breakdown, man. I know. We've got a breakdown, we've got to wait.
Oh, bloody day. Crap heaps.
She fixed it?
Nah, she's munted.
Like she's having hydro gear and no water to cut with.
How we going with that bloody water then?
What time do you call this, mate?
Oh, good on you, boys.
Ready start?
Hey? Forgot it was Friday. It's the bus, eh?
So we shouldn't be too far away. I'll be about half an hour. I'm just fixing another juggernaut. Yeah, well, just pull your finger out, eh?
You going back out? Yeah. Ricky needs some more for his loader too. Stuck at Spaghetti Junction. Hey! Oh, yeah, I got you there, lad.
Sparkies. Sparkies.
Hello? Malcolm, sorry, mate. Yeah, just checking up with you. Nah, good as gold. No worries, mate.
Back up and running. About time. I'll let them know at face. Hello, Underground.
fucking loaders fucking us around.
Threw us waiting around every bloody day.
Hello.
ABM or roadheader. Hello, ABM or roadheader.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Who are you looking for?
Yeah, just after ABM and roadheader.
At 3:44 p.m. on Friday the 19th of November 2010, the Pike River coal mine explodes.
Dreams used to come out of here. It's one of the build houses and fucking buy motorbikes and shit. They'd all talk of it. Yeah, some of them are still here. Still here.
He always wanted to be a builder, and he went into the mine as an experience and Zen thought would look good on his CV. I think it was originally meant to be 2 months and then it was extended to 3 months, and then he decided to just go through until Christmas and of course just stayed too long. And he had great dreams for himself, and there's no way he would have put himself in an environment that he thought could end his life. No way.
When I think of Michael, I think of the fit young person that he was, smiling, you know, happy. He was a good lad. He was fun-loving, mischievous, hard-working. He had his whole life in front of him.
Stu just always liked being underground. Even as a kid, loved being in caves. So I guess that's what drew him to it. And money.
He was ready to prove himself. He was ready to prove that there was more to him than what people had thought. Yeah, he was doing good.
I wouldn't be what you call a biological father to Dan. We were sort of sharing him, I suppose, with his mother. I changed his nappies, taught him how to swim. He was quite an educated bloke. Got his school C in Japan, speaking Japanese.
Cheer up. What's wrong with you?
It's been an asshole. Girlfriend stuff.
Forget about it. Buy some flowers. Now, come on. Sorge. Rattled eggs.
He just liked the way in which the language was spoke, I think.
Come on, Wicker.
I found out later that the miners used to call him Weka, like the little native bird, because if anybody needed anything retrieved from anywhere in the mine, they'd just send Zen, because he was always happy helping people.
Back up and running. About time. I'll let them know at the face. Hello, ABM or roadheader? Yeah, just after ABM and roadheader.
Hello, Sparkies. Hello, underground. Anyone? Hello, Sparkies. Hello, underground. Any Sparkies?
Hello, underground. Anyone?
Jimmy.
Hello, monitor, please.
Hello, underground.
Underground. Anyone?
Hello, underground. anyone underground? Anybody underground? Hello, underground? Anyone underground? Hello, anyone underground? Can you understand? Anybody underground? Hello, underground? Anybody underground? Hello, underground? Anybody underground?
Anyone? That bastard's answering.
The explosion's pressure wave travels almost 2.5 kilometers in 20 seconds. The blast lasts 52. At the time of the explosion, 31 men are underground.
Gordon?
Tony? Pike River. I know.
I closed that file when we closed the Wellington office. Too hard box, Gordon. We've been sitting in that bloody license for years and seen nothing out of it. Pan-Pacific Petroleum. The Wellington office was New Zealand Oil and Gas, not coal.
We have a full mining license now.
And still no development partner, no inclination to throw any more money at it.
We already have geological surveys.
Yes, costly ones, and preliminary.
When I finished my honours degree, which was in the late 70s, one of our lecturers said, why don't you work on coal? So quite soon we had to define our research projects, and mine was going to be principally Greymouth coalfield. So we decided to include Pike River to get a proper understanding of the geology. This is how the Brunner coal measures are typically illustrated, as a single thick continuous coal seam. And this is certainly how it appears in the escarpment. But in fact, once we put the first hole down, it was completely different. And you do get this a lot with geology. The small amount of data at the start makes things look simple. As soon as you get more information, you get another layer of complexity, and that just kept happening at Pike River.
Look, it's simple. Our market analysts are predicting a boom in coal prices. China is already clamouring for coal, and I'm certain I can entice an investment partner. I already have nibbles in India. I can make this happen, Tony. And no number 8 wire bullshit either. I honestly believe I can create a best practice, high-tech, high-yield mine over there.
That's the problem. What's really in the drill holes doesn't make it into the model for mining if you don't take account of the complexity. That was a recurring concern that I had. The geologist knows, but no one listens to the geologist.
In 1988, New Zealand Oil and Gas spent almost $8 million acquiring the Pike license and 10 years trying to woo investment partners. In 1998, finance manager Gordon Ward, armed with well-researched data on booming coal prices, but only geological data from the early 80s, is given the mandate to take one last tilt at establishing the mine.
What we're talking about here is a state-of-the-art operation. Hundreds of millions in development and massive infrastructure works. A boost not only to the economies of Greymouth and the West Coast, but to New Zealand as a whole. Thank you.
Mr. Ward, Tony Coxthorne.
Gordon, please.
I'm on the council. Your talk was very impressive. If there's anything I can do to help.
Well, thanks. I think we'll need all the help we can get. Access, development permissions.
Pretty good at banging on desks if that's what's needed.
Being part of improving the local economy won't do your own prospects any harm either, huh?
It's not about me. It's about the coast.
Of course. And I, of course, will be in touch.
Everyone was excited on the west coast. It was a new coal mine, and coal run through our veins here. I thought this could be a real big employer for the Grey District and for the west coast. It could have been the jewel in the crown for our area here. In those days, we were really struggling, so the benefits for the Grey District would have been huge. There was $30 million of wages alone. The mine itself in the end cost $300 million to develop, so it was generating huge economic activity for the West Coast and for the whole of the nation, actually.
Pike River had to get both a mining permit, and then they also had to have an access arrangement with the Department of Conservation and, of course, resource consents. At that time, I did quite a lot of evaluations of either coal mines, but also a set of projects on coal seam gas, which is the gas you get within coal. So I had the experience there. I definitely took into account the mining risks associated with the project, not just the environmental risks. So I was expecting a lot of information. This gives you an example of the type of information I would have been expecting to see. Drill hole logs, detailed feasibility reports, detailed geological reports, lots and lots of big A1 plans with a lot of detail in them, and that's probably about 1/3 maybe of the total amount of information you'd expect for a project like that.
What's this?
Will there be anything else?
I bloody well hope so.
This is a report that I saw in the data room at the Department of Conservation. Good information, but it definitely was far less than what I expected to see, and definitely not enough to make any assessment of a mining proposal. I wanted far more detailed plans, drill hole data, data on the chemistry of the coal, a whole range of things like that.
When we drilled some of those first 6 holes, there was gas bubbling from the coal. You expose it to the air and it fizzes. And that's not unusual with deep coal seams on the west coast of the South Island.
These coal drill holes here, they've all had gas tests done on them. One of these holes up here had the highest gas content of any mine in New Zealand, so that was extremely significant. It meant that the entire mine was extremely gassy. But what was more concerning was the mining feasibility study that Pike River presented to me. All the ventilation modelling was based on a far lower gas content. And that meant that there was a risk of explosive outburst of gas within the mine. I wrote that the information I'd received from Pike River wasn't adequate. I actually recommended that the Department of Conservation approve them drilling more drill holes. Just the level of information wasn't there. It certainly wasn't adequate to give an access arrangement. I guess I went beyond the environmental ambit with respect, which was my brief. So Pike River was not particularly happy with my report.
They can't mine something they don't understand. I was hoping that what stopped that mine finally would not kill anybody.
When we got to the stage of going into the resource consents, the Department of Conservation was saying, well, we actually need more information. We want drill holes put down. The number of drill holes at that stage was about 19 over a fairly large area, 1.5 kilometres by 6. And some of those drill hole spacings were up to 1 kilometre.
Now, during the exploration days, they come up with all this data. Here's the plan. We know exactly what we're doing, what we have to do, how far this is. And so it wasn't until the Royal Commission of Inquiry that we found out that there was an inadequate number of drill holes. And this is why it became such an issue that this time bomb that was Pike River coal started ticking way back before my son Ben was even born, back in the 80s.
Pike River Coal's 2007 Black Gold prospectus would claim,
in areas of low to moderate gas, the gas flows under natural pressure and is vented through the mine's return air ventilation system.
a safe mine would require a sophisticated return air ventilation system designed to respond to the high levels of gas in the rock. Additional planned intakes are never completed.
Bloody shambles.
Doug White. Doug, we've lost communication and I think power in the mine.
It'll be a comms or monitoring problem. Talk to Danny.
Yeah, he's gone home for the day.
Okay, so call Katrina and get hold of his Sparky. Keep me informed.
SCADA's down. Data, gas guards, power, fans. Phones sound live, but nothing. Shit.
You've tried up at the hydro panel?
Yeah, of course, nobody's answering.
What's the main fan doing?
Not even a reading. Blank. Pete Dickey reckons there's a weird smell in the air.
Maybe it's just a major outage. How's it going? Back online?
No, and still no communication. Nothing for 10 minutes. I mean, you'd think some bugger would have walked out, said they're all okay. Do you want me to put Mines Rescue on standby?
No. No, we won't go there yet. Let's get someone up there.
Okay. He wants eyes on it. Can you check the power?
Underground? Sure.
Hey, take this. I've got a bad feeling about this.
This is a gas detector. It's not on, obviously, but it would have 4 sensors in it. One's for methane, or low explosive limit. One's for oxygen. They would have had quite a number of these underground at any one time. And these aren't passive units. They start yelling at you if the alarm goes off. So 2% gas, this thing would be squawking at you. So there's no excuse. You would have known that there's a problem in the mine.
Getting nothing.
Keep trying the phones.
Should call Whittle.
We don't know if it's a problem yet. Anyway, he's in Wellington for the new capital raise.
It's a simple cash flow matter. I mean, a 70 million capital raise is hardly...
Fourth capital raise in how many years? Remember, numbers are my métier, Peter. Since the 85 million raised in the 2007 IPO, 60 million in 2008, wasn't it? 45 in 2009. Another 50 this year already.
All to meet contingencies that had been clearly indicated as possibilities.
Another 70 million. At 85 cents a share. It rather smacks of desperation, don't you think? And now we have a new CEO. Congratulations on that, by the way. But still, no coal.
Control room.
Me. How'd you get out? I saw a body in the main drift. Oh, we need Mines Rescue. It's been an explosion.
Well, that's not correct. We shipped over 40,000
To
tons.
appease your Indian investors.
We've had teething problems. Excuse me. Peter Whittle.
I'll take the chopper up, check out the top of the vent shaft, give us an idea how big this might
What's
be.
going on?
Neville.
I just got a call, something about an incident.
There's been an explosion underground. I'm handing the duty card system to you. I'm going to fly up to the vent. No one is to go in there until we're clear about what's happened. No one.
I already know that the lady said there's a body laying in the drift, and all of a sudden I'm the incident controller. And you've got to try and sort of put emotion to one side and get things done.
Shit.
What?
Half of Mines Rescue are at a training exercise. They're assembling a team, they said.
Are the police on their way?
We may need as much emergency care as possible. Ambulance and helicopter on standby, because there are a lot of people underground at the moment. Roughly, you're probably looking at least 25 to 30 people. And and no one's accounting for it at this stage. We've heard from nobody, so it's possibly a very major incident. Look, we just don't know how bad this is. It could be the worst, you know? It's not going to be good, I'll tell you that much.
Two of the men currently managing the incident have family underground. Dan Duggan, a brother, Chris, Neville Rockhouse, 2 sons.
Come on.
What's it look like from the top?
The vent's a mess. Fucked. No one will enter. Mines Rescue's been notified.
Come on.
So Mines Rescue deal with that.
What's with all the bloody phones?
Bloody Sky News, London, CNN.
Oh, no, we got a bloody emergency on our hands here.
Well, obviously they do. How the hell they do, I have no idea.
Let's walk out. Let's walk.
Pike River Coal. Sorry, we are unable to take your call at the moment. If you leave a message, please do
I don't care if they are relatives. No one wants to be told anything until we've established who is
You know
underground.
that from the tagboat?
Definite. Your bloody board gets fucked up all the time now. No information.
Control room. Underground. I've got somebody.
I need help.
Are you hurt? Can you see anything?
Okay. Trouble breathing.
Where's your self-rescuer?
Stay low and make your way to the fresh air base.
Contact us from there. Okay.
No one in the control room is aware that the fresh air base had been decommissioned weeks earlier.
Hey, dude. Prime for our people. Our faces.
Looks like you left the handbrake on.
Never really related well to horses. Our places.
Our case begins in the tree-lined streets of suburban Auckland.
Our stories.
This is an epic story. 29 men dead.
What I need you to do is fix me.
And our music.
Delaney Davidson, Barry Saunders, Tammy Nielsen, and Marlon Williams.
Prime for you. Prime and New Zealand on air. Together, we love local.
At Resine, a little test pot can go a long way to helping you choose a colour scheme. And more test pots than anyone else means more choice at your Resine colour shop.
Ta-da! Oh, yummy. Try these Sara Lee incredibly crunchy cheesecakes.
You forgot the glasses. Glasses. Oh, yeah.
Skimp on your celebrity endorsement, but never skimp on dessert. Sara Lee, incredibly easy to justify.
Hurry, don't miss great gift ideas now at No Leeming. There's a Breville smoking gun for $89.99, plus 10% off all Microsoft Surface, or the Samsung 55-inch for $44.99 after cashback. Hurry on now, only at No Leeming.
It takes about 15 minutes. Oh. Put them on top of the porridge and a bit of sweetness in the porridge.
Hilarious. I did that 2 or 3 times. Oh,
you are so good.
Pulling a fast one? Priceless. MasterCard contactless. A faster way to pay at New World.
The #1 range from Schwarzkopf, Extra Care Marrakesh Oil and Coconut. Zero gravity, soft and supple hair with argan oil from Morocco. Indulging care without weighing down. So either, or Extra Care Marrakesh Oil and Coconut from Schwarzkopf.
Get your Christmas snacks sorted with these club deals from New World. Put on a great spread with crispy Arnott's crackers, now 2 for only $5. And at just $3.99, who can resist delicious Whittaker's block chocolates? Love Christmas at New World.
Discover more of Europe with Flight Centre and Cathay Pacific. Fly to Europe return for just $1,569. Or experience the comfort of premium economy from $4,019 return. Sail in Saturday.
Call 0800 35 44 48.
7 seats. In. Princesses, wizards and skeletons. In. Monthly shop. In. Fridge. In. No key needed. Everybody in. You out. Phone goes in. Disco out, but coming back in. Looking good in. Feeling at ease in. In, and in Outlander. Just $32,990 plus on-roads. Everything's in. New Mitsubishi Outlander.
What's in my total span shed? Stuff that makes life fun.
The kids' bikes, Dave's kayak, the barbecue, you know, all those bits and pieces.
Who can build you a shed made for life? Who can total span?
Let's be honest. When it comes to gifts, families don't always get it right. So sometimes it pays for you to give them a little hint. Nothing too obvious, just enough for them to read the signs. Because with over 40 tools in the Ryobi One Plus range, there's always room for more. And that's the power of One Plus. 2-piece combo kit, $369 at Bunnings Warehouse.
My training, my squad, my fuel, my bad. My training, my squad, my fuel. Milo, nutrition to help fuel their inner champion.
Every major act has a certain song which becomes their anthem.
Mama! It was a very big risk. But it became a rock classic. Prime Rocks, Thursday with Queen from Rags to Rhapsody.
I decided to go down to the Royal Hotel, which was my hotel of choice. Funny enough, I was drinking there with a bloke called Harold, who worked for Mines Rescue. And first of all, he got text on his phone, and at the same time, we watched fire trucks, ambos, police shooting across the Cobden Bridge. And we all thought it was another tour bus going off a hill or something, you know. And then Harold looked at me and he says, Pike's blowing up. And I sort of scoffed at it a wee bit and I said, well, hell blowing up, you know.
Michael should have been out early, but one of the other contractors, you know, said to Michael, can you, you know, I understand, can you just give us a hand to finish this off? And you know, they all helped each other, and that's what it was all about under there. I was behind the bar and I'd got a ring from Olivia.
Is that the lot?
Of course, we investigated, Michael wasn't home, and we just thought, oh, well, he'd be probably still up there helping, because that was Michael.
I was working at a medical centre, and our practice was on call that day, so we were having a busy day.
It's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, is that I rung her at work.
Hello, this is Kath.
Kath, it's me. Look, I don't want you to worry, but...
What's happened? You all right?
Look, there's been an explosion, a major explosion at Pike.
What?
Mike's not at home and we're...
Oh, no.
Kath, he'll be all right.
I should have gone in. I just wasn't there to help her.
The long fuse that would snuff out so many lives has been fueled by budgetary imperatives, and some might suggest ambition, which has driven key decisions about infrastructure development.
Oh, it's all perfectly doable, especially with Peter here as mine manager.
How's our profile in Wellington?
Oh, they'd be pleased to have us back, I imagine. The West Coast is.
Even though you intend to bulldoze your way through their national park?
No, that's all in hand. Department of Conservation's right behind us.
So I should hope, after 8 years' work.
It'll be an eco-friendly operation with minimal impact on the environment. We think we'll even improve the habitat.
OK, Peter, spare me the eulogy for the native blue duck. Tell me about the road.
It's about 10k from the confluence of White Knight and Pike Stream. Shouldn't be a problem.
Mid-2004, I was hired by Gordon, in fact, Gordon Ward, as a project manager, basically looking after 2 road contracts and the tunnel shaft contract. Firstly, the road construction was a lot tougher, and while that cost nearly twice as much as it had been budgeted, the big impact there was a delay. So it was about a 7 to 9 months delay. You couldn't start that tunnel contract until the road was finished.
When the mine was originally planned, the idea was that the portal was actually supposed to be further up at this point here. They had so much trouble with the road up to that point that they stopped it early.
Because Pike wanted to get in there quickly, which was driven by coal price, coking coal price at the time.
We drove the main access uphill, through rock to the coalface.
To drive a single drive 2¼ kilometres uphill into a gassy coal seam, it's a no-no. The lowest of miners would know not to do that, let alone experienced people. You know, it was just so stupid.
$124 million developed.
There were issues raised about the tunnel contract cost. There was a view that it was too high.
And you say you'll ship coal by September next year.
That's right.
The end result of that was the contingency was removed from the budget. And I can still recall voicing a fairly strong opinion that I'd never come across a tunnel that had been driven for the budget price. I mean, Mother Nature tends to throw stuff at you that's worse than you expect, not better than.
My view was that they're over ambitious about their targets, about how long it would take to do that stone drive. They're driving through granite, they're driving uphill, and there were, for example, no safety plans in relation to outbursts or fire underground or explosions. And those are 3 critical things that I felt needed to be addressed. I put a requirement into the access arrangement.
Pike River is going to be the 2nd largest export coal mine in New Zealand. We'll ship between 1 million to 1.25 million tonnes of top-grade coking coal a year.
So double the early projections.
Sarastra Fuels obviously believes we're on track. You've seen the contracts. 17 mil stake in the company, and they, with Gujarat, guarantee purchase of half our output for the entire life of the mine.
Wow. I would say that Tunnel was at least 2 years late, which would have meant that effectively coal production, all things being equal, would have been 2 years late as well. You're dealing with the rock that's in front of you. We couldn't change that. Had we predicted that, and had we known the true costs, the mine probably wouldn't have been developed. And I think the final tunnel cost was about $58 million, so it's about $35 million more than the budget would have had in it. More than twice.
At 4:45, the phone rang. It was a friend of mine from the butcher shop, and she said, had I heard that there'd been an explosion at Pike? And I said, no, I hadn't. And she said, was Stu working? And my initial comment was no. And then in the next breath, I realised that, yes, he actually is on that back shift. I sort of went into shock, I guess, not really grasping what had happened.
And Carol said, Stephen. And that means, listen up.
He knows when I call him Stephen that, you know, things are not right.
Hello? It was his ex-girlfriend. Hello? I couldn't understand why she was asking me if I'd spoken with Zen. No, why? And of course my first thought was he'd had an accident on this new motorbike. And then she said, no, the mine has blown up. And she'd been trying to ring him.
And I came home and started ringing up the mine because I knew the service controller really well. He was giving me bits of information as it occurred.
No information.
I just remember going to organised mode, pack a bag and pack enough clothing for 3 or 4 days, because if there's been an explosion, there'll be coal dust involved, and those coal dust explosions are going to be massive, and methane, and they'll be burned, and Greymouth Hospital won't cope, so we're either going to Wellington or Christchurch.
All right. It's a big jump from feasibility to full-scale development and production. Put it to the board. I'll back you.
Methane, you can't really smell it. It's not like it's painted red. You can't. It's just there.
silent and waiting.
It dissipates out of the air because it's lighter, hits the roof, and then rolls back up the roof like water in an upside-down situation.
The chief way of diluting gas in any underground operation is ventilation.
Previously, the tunnel was to go up about 1 3/4 kilometres, and they would head out to the right and put a shaft up and get a ventilation circuit, so the air would come up the tunnel and up the shaft, and that give them perfect ventilation. But because they're getting short of money, they decided to go through with a single entry. The main drift was to go into the coal seam with no return airway.
Even the positioning of the main fan underground is a controversial management decision.
I've seen pump systems and electrical systems placed underground, but I've never ever seen a main drive for a fan, a ventilation fan installed underground.
Even the Zimbabwe legislation doesn't allow you to have a main fan underground, and they're not exactly sort of the flashiest with the legislation.
Pike River will eventually go into production without adequate ventilation, no viable secondary egress, and no means of escape other than the single 2.3-kilometre stone drive, despite the fact that single egress mines have long been banned in most countries in the world.
The issue with methane is that methane's explosive as a mixture with air between roughly 5 and 15%. So you've got less than 5%, it's not explosives, but if you've got an ignition source, then it will flare, it will burn.
48 days before the mine exploded, there were 21 spikes in the methane in the explosive range, and there was another, I think it was 27 spikes, not necessarily in the explosive range, but still potentially dangerous. And I mean, this information must have been getting fed through to management, and what did they do? Nothing.
Your ventilation is your #1 consideration in the gassy mine. And it was their last consideration, obviously.
I couldn't believe that. I still can't believe it. In fact, this whole thing is just so massive. I can't get my head around it. And I sure as hell can't get my heart around it either. It's too big. Too big. They killed our men. Our boys. They killed them.
One person becomes many.
Need you to make a problem go away.
When the man with no past...
I'm an orphan. No parents, no siblings.
But you do have someone who's counting on you.
Guides the future.
How do you do it without getting caught?
You stick as close to the truth as you can.
The legend...
She's in.
...will never die.
What are you doing here?
Prime for Drama. Tuesday. New season, Legends.
Wake up to something new. Colgate Total Pro Shield mouthwash. It kills germs and provides a protective shield for up to 12 hours. So you're protected from breakfast to dinner. Colgate Total Pro Shield mouthwash. 12-hour germ protection even after eating and drinking. Hurry, don't miss great gift ideas now at Noel Leeming. There's a Breville smoking gun for $89.99, plus 10% off all Microsoft Surface, or the Samsung 55-inch for $44.99 after cashback. Hurry, on now, only at Noel Leeming.
Mate, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time.
He just pulled out. I don't have time to stop.
It was a simple mistake. Please, I've got my boy in the back.
I'm going too fast. I'm sorry.
Load up your trolley with these festive deals from New World. There's nutritious bananas, perfect for their school lunchbox, just $1.99 a kilo. And fresh chicken kebabs, made for summer Barbies, are $17.99 a pack. Love Christmas at New World.
A Christmas greeting can have layers of meaning done in haiku. Ooh.
Imagine the brains you'll tease with a scintillating read or a perplexing puzzle, and craft a thoughtful message.
Paper Plus, imagine good things this Christmas.
If you want to get your hands on quality New Zealand Angus beef burgers made with the finest, tastiest ingredients, then it's time to head to McDonald's, the home of Angus.
Where to next? I'm the king of the world. Ooh,
what's that? Now you're talking.
Whiskers helps nurture your cat's inquisitive nature, providing everything they need now and at every stage of their life.
You have a phone. It has calls, text and data. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't need a lot of calls or text. You need data. For dating sites like Honey Badger. You do have a girlfriend. You need less data and more calls. Lovey-dovey calls. You don't have a girlfriend again. She won't return your calls. You need more text. Things change. Now your prepay can too. Get more of what you need and less of what you don't with Vodafone MyFlex Prepay.
The #1 range from Schwarzkopf, Extra Care Marrakesh Oil and Coconut. Zero gravity, soft and supple hair with argan oil from Morocco. Indulging care without weighing down. So either, or Extra Care Marrakesh Oil and Coconut from Schwarzkopf.
Get into your zone. With zoned cooking areas on the grill, Matador caters for everyone. We've packed all the signs of a great barbie in the Matador range. One of them's the price. Matador, the sign of a great barbie.
On December 10th, I fight for a world title.
Exclusive access to Team Parker.
Be part of this amazing journey.
Parker versus Ruiz, a fighting chance. Soon on Prime.
The phone went just as soon as I walked in. It was the police that said there are 25 to 30 people missing through an explosion in the Pike River coal mine. This is all. And I just dropped the phone and I just took off out through that door. I couldn't get up there quick enough. When I got up there, there was an eerie silence everywhere. I talked to a human resources person for Pike. I said to him, have you started phoning the families? He said, yes, we have. I said, that's good.
There's no greater noble thing one can do in one's career than keeping people safe. People have to be aware of the dangers and the hazards. And if they don't, then it's just a time bomb ticking. I've been spat at, I've been threatened, my life's been threatened. No one beats me up as much as I do. I think of Pike River on a regular basis. At the end of the day, I had 2 sons underground, working underground. 2 sons on the day of the explosion. Do you think I would deliberately put my sons, my flesh and blood, in harm's way? No, I wouldn't. And I didn't think I had. Then it became apparent afterwards that there were incident reports that I'd never seen. How do you manage what you don't know? There was a sustained explosion, and all that energy emptied a mine of all of the oxygen and pushed out unexploded gas. But because it was on an incline and it had a vent shaft, it acted as a chimney sort of a situation, and the mine started to breathe in.
Get up! Ruffin!
After the explosion, the fresh air started to go back up the drift, and that revived them. They were very, very lucky, very lucky.
And the smell they reeked of that burnt fuel, rubbery, oily smell. Russell Smith was babbling. He was away with the fairies.
Need fucking transport.
Later on, I find out he was in the pathway of the full blast. Daniel was protected somewhat, and Daniel was just, all of his effort, all of his concentration was just on Russell.
We're out. We're out, mate.
And I went up to him and I says, boy, you know, Daniel, boy. And he looks up at me, because the other guys grabbed Russell, and he just looked up at me and went, Dad.
I put more pressure on the HR man to keep ringing the families, which he assured me he had been doing, and I told him we had to get down to Greymouth to address the families that were being assembled at the Red Cross Centre. And he said, no, Pike are running this rescue. We want someone to speak to the families too. I said, well, get him. He couldn't find any personnel because there was no one up there from Pike.
We decided that at around about 11 o'clock that we would go into town where they were all gathering.
So I went down, I gave them the news, I told them everything I could. Then, as part of the conversation with the families, well, you've been phoned by Pike River management, and every single one of them said no one has phoned.
We'd had no call, but, you know, there's many families that they were the next of kin, but they still didn't get a call either.
We never ever got confirmation. No one ever told us. We never ever got told.
I says, hell, this is terrible. Give us your phone numbers. They all wrote them down on pieces of paper for me. I went back up to the mine, had a huge argument with the HR personnel.
No, I did not.
You said they'd been contacted.
No, I said we would be contacting the family.
Yeah, well,
I saw Peter Whittle come in. I explained to Peter, I said, no one's been phoned in the families yet. I said, you've got to start. Peter agreed with me, to be fair to Peter.
And I said to Carol, look, I've read the prospectus. It's a modern mine. And there'll be a guy sitting in a control room, and he'll have all these computers in front of him, and there'll be cameras all through the mine and sensors and detectors of all kinds. And so they would know. There'd be communication, there'd be, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Pike River was conceived as a modern, state-of-the-art coal mine, but from the outset, local conditions have thrown curveballs at an overconfident, underinformed, largely Australian management team. Commercially, they've been digging their own grave. Tragically, 29 men are now buried in it.
You know, when you look at the mine upstairs, out of the ground, you look like you've gone into a space age.
But, I mean, the buildings are beautiful. When you get up there, oh, man, it's lovely. Well done, everyone. You go below ground, poof, out of sight, out of mind.
The equipment they'd selected wasn't suitable for the task. Peter was heavily involved in that, and they were lemons.
There was a huge fanfare build-up to this new equipment arriving at Pike River Coal.
Yeah, what they used to tell me at Spring Creek, you can only piss with the dick you got. Unfortunately, the management of Pike River kept giving us a rubber one.
We're all standing there and the electricians go and plug it all in and it goes, thump. It didn't work.
Listen, something's going on with this computer, same as yesterday. Darnie's trying to work on the problem. Yeah. Water problem at the moment here. There's a shitload of water coming down. Okay, mate, I'll go down and check it, make sure she's pumping out.
There was pressure coming on from above to stay to target, stay to plan. You can't do that when all of these unplanned events keep on occurring.
We need that bloody coal. I have no interest, Peter, heading a company that puts up a public offer and falls flat on its face. That is not why I took the CEO position.
The first few years were great. Did lots of great training initiatives, lots of development.
Barry Dolbear has given the projections their tick.
Yes, I have read the analysis.
We can do it. Jeez, we have to. We float next month.
But then a series of setbacks began to occur, and it started to come unstuck.
Gordon, we've had 3 chairmen in 2 years, all these delays with the bloody tunnel, soaring costs.
And a soaring market price for coal, which we have to deliver if we're going to give our shareholders a return on their investment.
He was under immense pressure. The stock market was saying the price of their shares were dropping.
Instead of doing the logical thing, which was to take a pause and to reconsider what's going on, because a lot of us didn't understand, we came under pressure to open the mine.
All right.
And go into full production.
Production by March next year.
Then 1 million tonnes a year by 2009.
Peter Whittle phoned me up. He said, Tony, good news. After 2 years, we're about to strike coal. He was excited, I was excited, everyone around the West Coast was excited.
Today's a great day for Pike River Coal. After about 8 years of planning and now 3 years of construction and 2 years of tunnelling, today we've hit coal.
We took a TV crew with us. You can tell by the interview we were very, very excited indeed.
And so you got the product there? Yes, with a nice lump of Pike River coal. It's a good quality hard coking coal for the steel market. And this is the first lump that we've been able to get away from the face.
We'd taken the block of coal, I think, from somewhere else off the face of the mine, from the escarpment, I think, because when we got down there, there was no sign of coal.
We'll achieve about 200,000 tonnes of coal between now and the middle of next year, and we'll start exporting in probably the second quarter of 2009.
The optimism was always there from management, but then they'd have to be optimistic. On top of the fact that these people had invested in that coal mine, they were going back to them time and time again because they kept running out of money. So the whole thing at this point was a pressure pot.
It's a simple cash flow matter.
You know, they should have been producing coal originally in 2008. They didn't really produce any coal until 2010, and that coal was only a very small amount. So they're 2 years behind schedule.
Peter's management style was very much there was one way to do it.
And he'd bulldoze his view and his opinion on the world.
I mean, I've seen this before in project teams. You get a very strong leader, and they tend to surround themselves with like-minded people. And if you question the project, then you become offside with the team, and you usually get thrown out, or you move out. And it's a dangerous situation that develops because you just get one point of view.
Health and safety was thrown out the back door. The she'll be right attitude came in, and she'll be right is not all right in a coal mine.
I know this is Greece, but you're gonna have to speak English. Oh God, he's got rabies.
Is your family just a little weird?
Look. God. One collects them, the other executes them.
Your son, Leslie.
What's happened?
He's with bad people. Locked. Shoot. Always shoot you.
I come to arrest.
What? Leslie!
He's not going to jail.
This is Corfu. Anything's possible.
Prime for drama. Wednesday with new series for Darrells.
The special edition Holden Captiva Equip comes with 18-inch wheels, reversing camera, 7-inch touchscreen and Apple CarPlay, plus stylish leather-appointed seats and an electric sunroof. All that and 7 seats make it perfectly equipped for your whole family. And from only $35,990, it's an outstanding value 7-seater too.
Cocoa Pops and milk, just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy.
Oh, popcorn.
Was that your brother? You know I could bench press him.
Kitten?
Getting back to your seat in the nick of time? Priceless. MasterCard contactless. A faster way to pay at event cinemas.
They tell me I'm a bone. Two waters stand alongside my love. Oh, talk about my love.
You brush your teeth twice a day, right? But 80% of bacteria aren't even on teeth.
80%?
Colgate Total fights bacteria on teeth, tongue, cheeks and gums, protecting 100% of your mouth surfaces. Colgate Total, for whole mouth health.
I'm gonna make this the best Christmas yet. Boom! Turkey, ham, salmon, or dig in, meativores. Roast veggies looking hot. Oh, mistletoe. Oh, wait, are we related? Be the host with the most for less this Christmas at Pack and Save.
Mate, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time. He just pulled out. I don't have time to stop. It was a simple mistake. Please, I've got my boy in the back. I'm going too fast. I'm sorry.
Dyson's latest cord-free machine transforms cleaning on carpets and hard floors. With the new V8 digital motor, it now runs for up to 40 minutes, with more suction power than any other cordless stick vacuum.
Shift into top gear this November with Neon.
Oh, yeah, smooth, like a Cadillac.
Indulge in some fantastic movies.
If you want to win, we're going to have to take risks.
And flirt with some addictive TV.
Can we keep the volume down? Yes. Captain Santini. It's Santiano.
Escape now with Neon.
Other family members went up to the mine to see where Michael was, but they were stopped at the gate. They couldn't get any information at all.
It's people like Joe that really helped us. It was a really big deal because Joe was working with his son Bryce, and they came out only minutes before the explosion. None of them knew it had happened behind them. On the way home, and they found out, turned around, went back, and one of them would come out, relay information. We'd do a cell phone rangering Stephanie. Stephanie would tell us what was going on, and we were over there. And when Joe came back, I sat him down at the table. This is, God, in wee hours of the morning, and sketched the mine out. And what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And millions of questions about the layout and what's going on. And then you find that it's just a complete fuck up in there, and there's no information. Nobody knows what's going on.
It was a terrible disaster on the 19th of November, but it was the worst disaster the way it was handled. It was shocking.
A phone call did come through from someone at Pike River to say that there was going to be a meeting at 7 o'clock that morning, and, you know, could we attend?
And we went to the Red Cross, and it was absolutely packed, and I looked around the room and didn't know anybody, and we'd say to people, well, who have you lost in the mine? And I always remember one lady that was engaged to Malcolm Campbell.
And she said, well, you know, I'm waiting for Malcolm because we've got our wedding coming up.
And, you know, and I thought to myself, well, that's not going to happen.
Thank you for coming. I know this must be a very difficult time. We're going to give you as much information.
We knew by then that Michael was one of the men who were missing.
This is Superintendent Gary Knowles, and he'll be acting as incident controller.
And I want to reassure you we're going to handle this with safety as our primary consideration.
How soon can you get them out?
Well, as soon as we know it's safe. We don't want to cause any further problems. The men have water in there, and we've got a compressed air line pumping oxygen to them.
I'm feeling much happier because I was hearing that it was very possible that he was still alive. What I thought was these guys in this concrete bunker with oxygen, and they'd be sitting around playing cards and telling stories, waiting. I didn't find out till much later that there wasn't a rescue chamber.
Now, we have to take time with this. Superintendent Knowles will give you a rundown on everything.
We, as coasters, thought that Peter Whittle had it totally under control, because to not have it under control and to risk that entire operation and $300 million worth of coal mine, you would have been mad.
I came back here. I didn't want to be in public. I didn't want to meet anyone, face anyone, because I was struggling with how I was feeling.
What do you think? I mean, you know more about this stuff than I do.
It's a bad one, Bernie. You want the truth? I don't think Michael's getting out of it alive.
Don't you say that.
Kath, love.
Don't you dare say that. Michael's strong. He's young and he's strong. And they've got air down there and water, we've been told.
I'm sorry. Sometimes the worst thing you can give people is hope. I'm sorry.
Kath.
I have to get ready. Peter Whittle's arranged a bus. There's a bus going up there, taking the families as far as they'll let us. Will you come?
I thought to myself, well, what was the use of going up there? Our men were still in the mine, and they were doing absolutely nothing.
Bernie just said, no, I don't want to hear what they had to say, because he felt that what was being said was not truthful. And I remember there was a sign outside one of the homes on the way up, thinking about the Pike families. I thought, well, that was really nice, you know. We only got up as far as the administration buildings. I didn't know where the mine was situated at that stage. We just had our own time to think about what might be going on underground.
When we were just standing and looking out in the general direction, I was in my head yelling out really loudly to Zen, I'm here now, I'm really, really close, just hang on for a bit longer, we'll get you out really soon.
I had this really strong urge right down inside me to scream out Michael's name so that he could hear and know that we were there. And the pipes that take the water into the mine and bring the coal out were right beside where I was sitting.
Kath got a small sort of rock and was hitting it on the water pipe to give Michael the message that we're really close and we're coming in to get you.
I just thought, oh, I'll send our love in, and hopefully that someone would hear that, feel that.
She said, oh, I just wanted Michael to know that I'm still there and that we're trying to get to them, and, you know, it was sad to hear.
I came away feeling better because Peter Whittle got on both the buses and talked to us, and of course we all had lots of questions, and so it was being reassured by him as well that they will be okay, and, you know, with time that, yeah, they'll return.
We weren't being rational, we were just on emotion. You know, all your cognitive functions gone, And these are your loved ones, these are your sons, these are your fathers, these are your uncles, these are your brothers.
For about 24 hours, I'm kind of hoping that Dan and a good few are alive. And then I started to realise that they were dead. I told the wife first, and sat down and explained to her why and how I thought that. And took the oldest child, who was Jux, into the room and asked him what his memories were of his father and a good light, and he gave me a whole big list. And I told him that's how I'd like you to remember him, because he's not coming home. He burst into tears. I heard wailing in here. It was a house of misery, but it was only one step into the corridor of misery, if you like, the first steps.
On the Saturday night, Joe jumped the fence of the yard because we had the gates locked still.
We were sitting inside and it was like that, and Joe came in and he just grabbed us and he said, "It's all over, mate, they're not coming out. They're toast, they're fried, they're burnt. It's on fire. They've pointed a laser gun down and the temperature's through the roof, and don't think they're coming out, mate. It's all over."
Burning. It's what they're saying. And it sounds like more than just a rumour.
They'd tell us, wouldn't they?
Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry to have to tell you that there's no fresh information immediately to hand, but I can assure you that rescue efforts are still being coordinated. And in the meantime, your men are most likely at one of the fresh air bases here or here. And I do imagine they'll be pretty hungry when they come out, though. They'll have already eaten their crib lunch.
What's this about the mine being on fire? Is there heating in there?
There's no evidence to that effect.
Well, that's not what we're hearing.
Look, I can assure you that we've got the best people, both from here and out of Australia, doing gas analysis. And the indications are, yes, some smoke.
He would have known deep down those men were dead. Any experienced coal miner knew they were dead. All the locals were telling me, "Tony, they're dead."
More like a scorched rag or a kitchen hob overheating than a fire.
We were hanging on to hope because Peter Whittle was telling us there was hope. Those men were waiting for us. So we were hanging on until someone told us otherwise. We kept hoping.
Bloody hell. A GCS is over 34. That puts the temperature down there at, Jesus, just under 4,500 degrees centigrade.
Good evening, updating Prime News. The government's banned the harvesting of paua and shellfish along the Kaikoura coast for at least 3 months as it tries to work out how much damage was done to the fishery in last week's quake. Nelson man Lewis Stanton, who set up camp on the streets of the city's CBD, is in jail tonight after a protest against him turned violent. And the All Blacks are fighting back at claims they're a dirty team as they prepare to fight Sam Kane's sighting on a dangerous tackle charge. Malachi Fekitoa was also cited after the win over Ireland.
Get those other bits all mixed in. You're right. Here's the milk. Do you need a hand with that?
I can do it.
Whoops.
Ajax Spray and Wipe. Perfect for life's lovely messes.
Load up your trolley with these festive deals from New World. There's nutritious bananas, perfect for their school lunchbox, just $1.99 a kilo. And fresh chicken kebabs, made for summer Barbies, are $17.99 a pack. Love Christmas at New World.
7 seats. In. Princesses, wizards and skeletons. In. Monthly shop. In. Fridge. In. No key needed. Everybody in. You out. Phone goes in. Disco out, but coming back in. Looking good. In. Feeling at ease. In. 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 And in. Outlander. Just $32,990 plus on-roads. Everything's in. New Mitsubishi Outlander.
Get discovering Brisbane. From city strolling to alfresco dining, see it all by the riverside from 169 one way. Our 48-hour Aussie sale is on now. Hurry, sale ends midnight November 22. Book now at Air New Zealand.
It's time. Take it easy. Don't do it now. You'll get what you deserve if you just sit back and wait. But if you just sit back and wait, you'll get what you deserve. Do it now. Don't take it easy.
Break through hay fever allergies with Telfast. It works fast, is non-drowsy, provides 24-hour multi-symptom relief, and it's effective every day. Choose Telfast 5-in-1 multi-benefit relief.
Why cook when you can create? Create something with big flavours and tiny leftovers. Create tastier flavours with just a sprinkle of master foods, herbs and spices. So why would you just cook when you can create?
The Kathmandu Christmas sale is on now. Give the gift of family adventure with up to 50% off, including travel and camping gear, rainwear, packs, footwear and more. The Kathmandu Christmas sale. Get up to 50% off in-store and online now.
Discover more of Europe with Flight Centre and Cathay Pacific. Fly to Europe return for just $1,569 or experience the comfort of premium economy from $4,019 return. Sale ends Saturday.
Call 0800 35 44 48.
Top up with these Christmas Club deals from New World. Get 2 dozen refreshing Heineken for just $39.99 and raise a glass with superb Jacobs Creek Reserve or Sparkling, now only $11.99 a bottle. Love Christmas at New World.
It's just that I feel so alone.
Loneliness is not one-sided, Elizabeth. For so long you have lived in a cage. Will you not allow me to give you the key?
An indecent proposal.
Oh, Ross, my life has been very frustrating, and since Francis died, a lonely and an empty one. I have agreed to marry George Warlegan.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Prime for drama, Tuesday, with new season Poldark.
When we arrived on site the next day, the first thing they showed that every mines rescue guy that turned up was the footage of the wind blast coming out of the tunnel. Now, to take 52 seconds for it to release that pressure, it tells you inside the mine itself there was a massive overpressure that took that long for it to drain off. So anybody that was past Spaghetti Junction in the mine itself was exposed to that.
The first thing that stopped the mines rescue, because some of them wanted to go in, no doubt about that, was the manager, Doug White, had said nobody is going in that mine till I know it's safe.
Because you can imagine what the situation is outside. People are saying, you need to go in there. You've got someone saying, but we think there's a fire up there.
The fire had to be between them and their escape because there was no second egress. So, you know, at that stage, Peter Whittle was talking about the Ellimac Rise, which was a supposed second escape, but it was proved later that nobody could even get up it.
The reason you have a second egress is that in the event of if one gets blocked off by a roof fall or something like that, you've got another way out.
This is the escarpment, a very dramatic feature within the mine. The shaft, which is around about here, was never really a viable option for escape.
The absence of any viable escape route can be tracked back to those early compromises in infrastructure development.
The method of actually constructing the shaft was the raise bore. So a raise bore system is a system where you drill a fairly large hole from the surface down with a very big machine, and all the cuttings fall into the mine and you take them out of the mine. It's expensive, but it's quick.
Right from the get-go, the vent shaft started to crumble from the inside.
It was just shale and chip that were coming down, which is what's expected, but the shale and chip got to the size of coffee cups and plates. And I thought, oh, you know, there's a bit of rough ground coming up. Then the size of the rock turned into like, the size of small fridges.
And then the lower portion near the mine just collapsed in on itself. A decision was made between Gordon Ward and Peter Whittle that no, we could get the vent shaft repaired. We would get some specialist contractors to put in another tunnel, and then drove an angle to join up with the old vent shaft that had been stabilised before the collapse. That was supposed to be a sort of a temporary vent shaft, and it was never intended to be a second means of egress from the mine.
The ladder that was going up almost overhung it in parts, so it was actually extremely difficult to climb up. It's not like walking up steps at all.
Race you up there to right. Right.
In late 2009, Pike River mine workers test the ventilation shaft as an escape route.
I had a number of heated conversations with Peter Whittle over that even being suggested as being a second means of egress.
If there's a fire, the Pike River second means of egress would have been no use anyway, because you never would have climbed out the shaft in the fire, because that's where the smoke would be going.
You can't expect people to go out of this in an emergency. It's going to become a chimney. It's going to be full of smoke. It's going to have gases going up it. Imagine having someone injured and trying to get a stretcher up there.
It's impossible! Let's get out of here!
They emerge back out of it. They're absolutely drenched. They're shivering. They reported that at one stage the shaft actually went out like that, so they were going out climbing at that angle. The Department of Labour inspector was shown the vent shaft, and he signed it off as a second means of egress from this mine. You could have knocked me over with a feather. It said, yep, it was okay. It could be used, and I made it. I really, I think that was about the time I resigned for the first time or the second time. It might have been the third time, I'm not sure.
When Pike River Mine explodes on November 19th, the so-called secondary egress is one of the main pathways of destruction. Its ruin is complete.
I don't think we're going to get him out, Bernie.
No. Somebody's already said that to me.
What safety measures are in place in that mine? I mean, she said there were issues, but I thought they were being dealt with.
Stu's training, he didn't talk about it a real lot. He just wanted to get underground. So it was something to be got through to get on those machines, to get down there and be with the lads. So when he got his certificate, you know, he's a pretty proud day for him. Yeah.
I was really pleased that Zen did that safety induction course, because I assumed, as he assumed, that it was all that he needed to know, and that every aspect of safety issues and how to keep safe would be covered.
And an induction as such, as Pike River had, is all theory, you know, like pen on paper and what you should do in a situation given on the paper. You know? And then you were put underground, and the training being given by the experienced men within that group of men. But where it failed in itself was there was too many inexperienced men to be taught by too few experienced men.
Doug White, the manager at the time, arranged for me to come the last Friday in every month, and he would have a crew outside, and I would talk to them everything about mine safety and the rescue gear and the equipment and everything, and go through it all with them, you see. So I went one Friday. I had 5 guys there, and then the next Friday I went, and there was 2 guys, and the training officer they had there at the time, he said that they couldn't afford to have any more men out because they had to get the coal out. A month before the explosion, they had to get another ship away before Christmas, and they offered all the men a $10,000 bonus each if they got a ship away before Christmas. So what little health and safety they did have went right out the window.
I don't agree with a bonus system like that, because it pushes people to take shortcuts.
We have the ability to keep people safe at work. Sometimes we lack the will. And sometimes the driver for that lack of will is money.
Everybody's going to be very happy.
The mighty golden carrot.
They had no end of problems. In fact, it went from bad to worse, really.
There was just gas pissing into the mine the whole time. There were inseam drilling holes, and they were not gas drainage holes. There was a byproduct. They were draining gas all right, but often freely into the mine.
We're having lots of trouble with gas here, mate, so we haven't actually managed to get cutting since we hit the Sparkies up here.
Methane and explosive range often, and it was getting reported. No one was doing anything about it. I rang Peter Whittle and told him, I said, you better do something about this. And he thanked me very much, but what he'd done, I don't know, because it blew up about a year later.
The incidents that were being reported on right at the coalface, written down and passed on to the supervisors and then given to the managers above. I mean, what was happening to them?
Yeah.
It wasn't a close-knit team, and part of the reason for that was the team kept turning over.
By the time you started communicating properly, they were gone, and there'd be another one, and so you have to go through the same bullshit all over again.
Some of them were feeling unsafe because of the methane levels and the inadequate ventilation, so some were leaving.
Yeah, when Doug White started, he seen all these things that hadn't been acted on. 240-odd hazard accidents, serious events, things that have been filled in by the men that no one done anything about. So he thought, I'm starting afresh. So talk about a disaster waiting to happen.
If you want to bake a cake, put all the ingredients together and mix them up and you'll get a cake. And if you want to have an explosion, it's the same deal. Put all your ingredients together and you'll have an explosion. So all the ingredients were there. The inspectorate was not what it should have been. Commercial pressures, production pressures, machinery that's not working, bonuses, the gas and the ignition source. Put all your ingredients together and you'll have an explosion.
You come from the future when?
2016.
I'm here to keep the president from being assassinated.
Jack Ruby. Something wrong? Like you see the coast.
This might be the start of the whole thing.
If we open a quarrel between the present and the past, we shall be in danger of losing the future.
It's timing. It's a timing.
Prime for Drama, Friday with new series 11/22/63.
New Nivea Protect and Care Antiperspirant Deodorant. Now with the unique scent of Nivea Cream. Soft on skin, strong on sweat. For 48-hour protection, new Protect and Care. The most caring deodorant from Nivea. And also for men, 48-hour protection without irritation. New Nivea Protect and Care Antiperspirant Deodorant.
Christmas isn't just about giving presents, it's about giving your loved ones a special experience. And that's why I use Command hooks to put my special touch on the house. They're quick to put up and don't leave marks after removing. And the larger Command hooks are strong enough to hold even your heavier decorations in place. This Christmas, make it one to remember. Command, do no harm.
Pint-sized and placid, or larger and more active. Every dog deserves leading nutrition. For healthy digestion, a shiny coat, immune support and healthy teeth, choose Pedigree, Vital Protection.
Postie Plus has made quality more affordable for everyone. A range of party tops, only $15 every day. Girls' dresses and play suits, just $10 every day. Everyday low prices in-store and online at Postie Plus.
The Kathmandu Christmas sale is on now. Give the gift of family adventure with up to 50% off, including travel and camping gear, rainwear, packs, footwear and more. The Kathmandu Christmas sale. Get up to 50% off in-store and online now.
7 seats. In. Princesses, wizards and skeletons. In. Monthly shop. In. Fridge. In. No key needed. Everybody in. You out. Phone goes. In. Disco out, but coming back in. Looking good. In. Feeling at ease. In. 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 And in. Outlander. Just $32,990 plus on-roads. Everything's in. New Mitsubishi Outlander.
Introducing Nivea 4-in-1 Firming Body Oil, an intensively nourishing all-over body oil that quickly absorbs into your skin, helps firm skin in 2 weeks, even skin tone, nourishes intensively and reduces the appearance of stretch marks. Rated 4 out of 5 stars by women in New Zealand. It's a fast-absorbing all-over body oil that gives you firmer, even-looking and beautiful skin. Nivea 4-in-1 Firming Body Oil, new to the Nivea Q10 Firming Body range.
Get more bang for your $3 with a delicious frozen Coke and medium fries. Or 3 tender chicken McNuggets and small fries for only $3. Get more bang for your buck.
Every meeting we went to, I expected to be told, it's over, we're into recovery now, it's not rescue any longer. They were still talking rescue.
And one part of me is wanting to believe Peter Whittle. They're just sucking on dirty water and air and crap, and the other part of me knows the mine's on fire.
The rescue efforts are still being coordinated.
You could sense anger from some of the families, wanting more specific answers, which they weren't getting.
But the real problem was Peter Whittle should never have been allowed to be the spokesperson for what was going on. He was the CEO of the company. He should not have been the person on TV telling the world what's going on and filling them full of false hopes. I'd hear people talking like saying, oh, Peter Whittle doing a great job on TV, he explains things really well, and he was great at telling good news. It's very significant because he's driving us down a road which made people hold off on the decision to seal the mine.
We all were trying to talk about windows of opportunity and the science behind mines and will they blow, and
there is no window of opportunity. They talk about this window of opportunity, but there is none. It all depends on how quick the methane is getting made by the coal and if there's a source of ignition there to ignite it. And there was, you see, it was still on fire.
And Mines Rescue, I'm thinking, what are these guys? Mines can't rescue, mines won't rescue, mines too afraid to rescue. Why can't they go in? What the hell's going on?
And they said, Tony, we don't give a damn about methane. We just want to get down that mine. We're getting it from the media when we get home. We've got people coming to our doors. We've got people saying, why aren't you going in? People calling us gutless bastards on television. There are search and rescuers that actually resigned from that position, and they've been in that position all their lives because of their inability to go into that mine. And they were weighed heavy on their minds, the guilt from that.
Later, when I got to go to the mine the first time and I looked at that portal and I thought, well, it's a 2-kilometre long gun barrel and you're donning your gear and you're heading off up into that tunnel, you know, at any moment this wall of flame can come at you. There's nowhere to go. Those guys really wanted to do that.
And we'd continuously, for the next days, get the same news. Oh, they'll be sucking air. They'll have nothing to eat, but they'll have plenty of water. And
the reality is, in an event like that, people don't wait to be rescued, they come out. So the event that happened was unsurvivable, in my opinion. What I felt was happening on the 24th, we were starting to look like we were going to go in there. So I could remember, you know, my heart racing, thinking, God, we're going to go in here, surely.
Whether for rescue or recovery, both Mines Rescue and the families believe they will soon see an end to their torment.
It had been indicated that Wednesday was the day that the men were going to, you know, it was a good chance they were going to be able to get into the mine.
An end will come,
but in the cruelest of ways.
You never leave a mine with a fire in it and making gas, unsealed.
We got a mine, we know is gassing out, and as it turned out, that's exactly what was going on because it blew up 4 days later. That's how long it took the gas to reach that ignition source. One of the guys come down the stairs and says it's just blown up again. The whole dynamics change because it's like, if there was any hope, it's gone now.
We all got a text message saying it was a really important meeting and that all families should be there. And when we pulled up, there seemed to be more media and there were lots of police everywhere.
I always remember one of the policewomen coming up to Kath because she knows us very well. And she tapped Kath on and she said, "Oh, it's great news, good news." And I went, "What?" And, you know, and you know, you sort of get that wee bit of hope, you know. I wasn't expecting anyone to be alive, but getting in was, you know. I was sitting there and everyone was waiting in anticipation of what was being said.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mines Rescue suited up and we're ready to go in. No, please just...
Stop. Mines Rescue will not be going in. There's been a second explosion and it was unsurvivable.
Bullshit!
People dropped to the floor, people were screaming.
But it went from up here to down there in as many seconds as it took me to drop my hand.
These poor people. How could they have been led on like this? And they were led on. I guess they were at the point where I was on that Saturday night. But I didn't have 5 days of hanging on, you know, and hoping, and I just don't know how they could have done that. I know now, well, I think I know now. I think now that they did not want anybody ever to get back into that mine because they'd all go to jail. The sound that erupted in that room was deafening. And that was the defining moment for me. I knew that Michael was not going to come home alive.
Once the second explosion happened, the tyres were cut. So we were left on our own. And I rang my brother-in-law up and I said, "Listen, Colin, something stinks here. There's been a massive second explosion," and he was shocked and I said, "We're going to get lawyers here."
Bernie was talking to him about, as a family group, we're going to have to do some work ourselves to get to the bottom of what has been going on or what hasn't been going on.
As you'd understand, there was a very real anger at how could this happen? How could there be such a multitude of failures at all levels? How could that happen? How could that be?
The second explosion seals the fate of the 29 men still underground. It will now be left to the families to fight for the recovery of their loved ones.
On December 10th, I fight for a world title.
Exclusive access to Team Parker.
Be part of this amazing journey.
Parker versus Ruiz, a fighting chance. Soon on Prime.
My training, my squad, my fuel, my bad. My training, my squad, my fuel. Milo, nutrition to help fuel their inner champion.
Shift into top gear this November with Neon.
Oh, yeah, smooth, like a Cadillac.
Indulge in some fantastic movies. If you want to win, we're going to have to take risks.
And flirt with some addictive TV.
Can we keep the volume down? Yes. Captain Santini. It's Santiano.
Escape now with Neon.
Most people think all anti-dandruff shampoos are the same, but new Head & Shoulders not only washes dandruff away, it also cleanses, protects and moisturises your scalp. Be up to 100% dandruff-free. I recommend Head & Shoulders.
I got you, son. I got you.
Select 2 pairs from our $299 range, and for a limited time, add free polarising in your second pair. Hurry, offer ends December 4. Should have gone to Specsavers.
Where are your parents?
7 seats. In. Princesses, Wizards and Skeletons. In. Monthly shop. In. Fridge. In. No key needed. Everybody in. You out. Phone goes in. Disco out, but coming back in. Looking good in. Feeling at ease in. In, and in Outlander. Just $32,990 plus on-roads. Everything's in. New Mitsubishi Outlander.
You have a big influence on your kids, so teach them the life lesson of cooking. Begin with Ben.
Get those other bits all mixed in. You're right. Here's the milk. Do you need a hand with that?
I can do it.
Whoops.
Ajax Spray and Wipe. Perfect for life's lovely messes.
This isn't glass. I'd say it's a very expensive diamond.
A gem of a crime.
They had someone on the inside.
With a French connection.
Bonjour.
Indeed. I've always wanted to play cat and mouse with a jewel thief.
Friday. Phones. Prime.
An explosion needs more than an ignition source and a charge. It needs an atmosphere in which to expand. So it is with Pike River.
The second explosion, it confirmed there was a fire. We know that now we've got a situation where this thing's just going to keep blowing up.
The fourth explosion will ensure the men remain entombed forever. The mine will be sealed to prevent further explosions.
It's unbelievable the support we had. But that's the West Coast. You know, the country were behind us and they felt for us. I always remember at the memorial service, going up to John Key, I said, you can bring all these dignitaries down to shake our hands and think that we're going to go away, sweep us under the table and let us get on with our lives. Said it's not going to happen. And that's when he reassured me, said that to my face, that we're going to get those men out. And has said it positively on numerous occasions. He's going to get those men out. I believed him.
All up on the West Coast, there was 430 men killed in mining disasters over the 150 years. Every one of those miners was brought out and buried, except 2 that were in the Strongman mine disaster of 1967.
To me, it's not about the families as such, because we're all alive, you know. We can still eat bread and butter and drink, but they can't. And I know for a fact that they don't want to be where they are, because we used to speak of it.
I went to one of the meetings and whacked my fist on one of the tables and the whole room just stopped talking. I said, listen, I want you people represented. I want a royal commission on what's happened here and make sure that your men haven't died in vain. And I said, I need the whole 29 of you on board, and within 2 days we had the whole 29 on board.
A Royal Commission of Inquiry would be held into the Pike River mine disaster to try to uncover why the mine blew up, in order to prevent further tragedies.
The trouble was, when the government bought the OSH Act in '92, they repealed all our acts and regs. I mean, they'd been written in blood over the centuries, and they just repealed them like that. I mean, I just can't understand politicians being so stupid.
If the government in 1992-93 hadn't abolished that legislation, and if the government in 1998 hadn't abolished the Specialist Mines Inspectorate, in my view, this would not have happened. Simple as that.
Probably around about half of the Coal Mines Act was to do with the health and safety side of things. The new legislation purely and simply dealt with how to allocate permits and how to calculate the royalties. Okay, this chart here shows the total number of inspectors we have in New Zealand over time. The chart effectively starts in 1994 and I took it through to 2010. Between 1994 and 1996, we had 14 total inspectors, but from 1996, which is when the inspectors moved to the Department of Labour, there's a very rapid drop-off, and then in 2004 we dropped down to 2. We maintained 2 right down to 2010, and then we dropped to 1.
We used to regularly inspect the mines. The chief inspector, he got the inspectors to do the very gassy mines on a weekly basis and the smaller mines on a monthly basis. The Labour Department, they said to us, we want you to do less inspections and more audits. Well, you can't audit a bloody mine, you've got to examine it. You're an inspector of coal mines, that means you've got to inspect it.
Although Pike River Coal and Valley Longwall are eventually fined, 12 charges against Peter Whittle are all dropped, perhaps to avoid a costly legal battle with little chance of a clear-cut verdict. The Royal Commission's findings will cite systemic failures in the regulatory regime, and Labour Minister Kate Wilkinson will resign. Pike River Coal is fined on 9 health and safety charges. Receivers can offer just $5,000 compensation to each family. But after 12 charges against Peter Whittle are dropped, the company's insurers increased the offer to the recommended sum of $110,000. Most of the families would far rather a prosecution and the recovery of their loved ones' remains for burial. Peter Whittle and the directors of Pike River Coal reject the Royal Commission's conclusion that they have not acted properly over health and safety issues.
You know, it was a long battle, but it gave us a voice, and we needed that voice. And it's been proven in the Commission. So they put greed, monies before the safety of men. And that's what it come down to, greed.
The disaster at Pike River has been a catalyst for much more stringent workplace health and safety regulations in New Zealand. The Commission makes 16 recommendations about stronger regulation, changes to mining legislation, administrative reform and emergency management. And in 2015, the new Health and Safety at Work Act comes into law.
New legislation, WorkSafe's now being properly resourced, so I guess that's a legacy for the health and safety industry and for everyone.
Obviously now it's gone way back up to there, under the new system.
But for the families, there's been no closure.
What do you call it when you find a dead Father Christmas inside your house? Infanticide?
The deceased isn't Santa Claus. He's just a man in a Santa suit.
Brokenwood loses a leader.
He was the most popular mayor ever.
He was a spineless puppet.
Are you saying Brokenwood needs a revolution?
Are you implying I might have offed my opposition?
Investigating Father Christmas.
I think Mike believes in Santa.
In the mother of all murders.
The makings of a perfect crime.
Saturday, the Brokenwood Mysteries Encore screening. Prime.
When I come home to relax, nothing compares with Lazy Boy's exceptional leather furniture and the way they're made. They're in a class of their own. And right now at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries, you'll save 30% off all leather furniture. Live life comfortably.
Mate, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought there was time.
He's just pulled out. I don't have time to stop.
It was a simple mistake. Please, I've got my boy in the back.
I'm going too fast.
I'm sorry.
You gotta be cool, calm, collected, look your fear in the eye. You gotta be shaking off the pressure, gotta be taking your time. Had my ups, downs, run around for doubt and despair. But the best stuff came when all the sweat wasn't there. You gotta say,
Install the low-maintenance, longer-lasting colours of Moduline's colour screen or poolside fencing to add the perfect finishing touch to your favourite outdoor spaces, and you can throw away your paintbrush. Call or visit online for your free quote.
You have a phone. It has calls, text and data. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't need a lot of calls or text. You need data. For dating sites like Honey Badger. You do have a girlfriend. You need less data and more calls. Lovey-dovey calls. You don't have a girlfriend again. She won't return your calls. You need more text. Things change. Now your prepay can too. Get more of what you need and less of what you don't with Vodafone MyFlex Prepay.
You brush your teeth twice a day, right? But 80% of bacteria aren't even on teeth.
80%?
Colgate Total fights bacteria on teeth, tongue, cheeks and gums, protecting 100% of your mouth surfaces. Colgate Total, for whole mouth health.
The Kathmandu Christmas sale is on now. Give the gift of family adventure with up to 50% off, including travel and camping gear, rainwear, packs, footwear and more. The Kathmandu Christmas sale. Get up to 50% off in-store and online now.
Top up with these Christmas Club deals from New World. Get 2 dozen refreshing Heineken for just $39.99. And Razor Glass with superb Jacobs Creek Reserve or Sparkling, now only $11.99 a bottle. Love Christmas at New World.
Posty Plus has made quality more affordable for everyone. A range of party tops, only $15 every day. Girls' dresses and play suits, just $10 every day. Everyday low prices in-store and online at Posty Plus.
What a view. Absolutely beautiful.
Explore exquisite homes of the Mediterranean coast.
There's opulence, there's a swagger.
A marriage of landscape and culture.
It's a wonderful piece of architecture.
Thursday, Homes by the Med. Prime.
I'd feel cheated on behalf of my people and this region. We were desperate for economic development here. We were going to get jobs, so we bought in, but we were let down by the management and directors of Pike River Coal that in the end failed their duty of care to keep our men, our West Coasters, safe.
There has been no justice in terms of the principal individual players who carry the responsibility for this disaster, and they know who they are.
There was no court case in the end because Peter Whittle couldn't be compelled to come back. Gordon Ward should have been back. He should have come back and helped us find the reasons why this mine exploded. He could have explained a lot of this away. He didn't care.
Real justice would come through criminal prosecution, and criminal prosecution of the individual players who were principal players in this disaster. And that would be, particularly in terms of the form of, criminal manslaughter. Hope that the men's bodies would be recovered, dashed. Hope that there'd be a criminal prosecution, dashed. Hope there'd be some other form of legal redress, dashed. It's been a rough journey for the families.
For some, a simple gesture from key management would make a big difference.
No one has said that they're sorry for the loss of Michael and the other men. That would mean so much.
I want Michael to think that our family has fought right to the end to try and get him out.
When Tui Rose is older, she's going to want to know about her dad. She's going to want to know
she's going to need to know his dimensions. So when she says, how tall was Dad? Stick the overalls on her. How big were his feet? Hop on his boots.
I blame myself for his present position. I can sort of live with that. But when my time comes, I'll feel that with the energy I put into Dan, that I put something good on earth. And I think about that at least 2 or 3 times a day. And I do. I hold my head up with quite a bit of pride. And there was a lot of good in him. Fucking heaps.
"29 men died on the 19th of November. So is that okay for no one to be held responsible for that? How can that be in the 21st century in New Zealand?
Hello, ABM or roadheader? I was just after the ABM and roadheader. Hello, Sparkies. Hello, underground, any Sparkies? Hello, monitor place.